If you had to guess, which rugby union nation has won the most test matches? England is the oldest union in the world, having formed in 1871, so you'd guess they'd be on this list. Yep, here at number 3. And although Scotland's union wasn't formed until 1873, they were indeed the opponents and are on this list at number 8. The other home nations, Wales, Czech, Ireland, Czech, and of course, let's not forget the channel neighbours, France, Czech. How about that team everyone loves, New Zealand, Czech, of course at number 1. And their rivals Australia, and let's add 2 more Southern Hemisphere teams in South Africa and Argentina. Since the beginning of the professional era in 1995, nations have been tiered in rugby, and Romania make up the last team on this list, but are classed as a Tier 2 nation. In fact, if we were to alter the table into win percentage, they would rise even higher into 3rd place. Of course not. England's overall record against Romania is played 5, won 5. 100. Given there's no relegation or promotion, and Italy's record of 13 wins, 1 draw and 106 losses since they were invited to the tournament in the year 2000, it does beg the question whether them being involved in the Six Nations is hampering their growth as a rugby playing nation or aiding it. The general consensus is they're improving. So why were Italy invited in the first place? And why is there no promotion or relegation in the European competition? And if every game inside the tournament is played for rival trophies, why shouldn't the team finishing bottom of the Six Nations group play off against a team finishing top of the Rugby European International Championships, sometimes referred to as Six Nations B? It can't all surely be down to money, can it? Today, Guinness sponsor the Six Nations, as well as the Women's Six Nations and the Under-20 competitions. Six Nations Rugby operates on behalf of the partnerships with its shareholders that include its members' unions and federations of England, France, Ireland, Italy, Scotland and Wales. In effect, the current Six Nations own the tournament and can format it however they choose. Below that comes the Rugby Europe International Championships, which is the annual European competition for Tier 2 and Tier 3 rugby union nations. We made a case for Romania, as historically they have a top 10 record for test match wins. Great pedigree and statistics to replace Italy, or is it time the Six Nations tournament? Originally the tournament started as the home nations with England, Ireland, Scotland and Wales until France were added in 1910. It then became the 5 nations, and through the 1990s Italy were classed as a shadow team. With an odd number, there was always a team who missed the weekend's fixture, so Italy stepped in as opposition and often won games. However, this could have been based on the friendly nature of the fixture, where players would have saved themselves for the competition game a week later, or because the travelling nations mostly fielded their second string. Given they were the go-to friendly opposition, there was a natural progression to involve them. At the time of making this video, they have lost their opening game of the 2024 competition 24-7 to England. After a run of 36 losses in a row, they beat Wales in Cardiff in March 2022 and Australia in Florence the following November. The youthful talent is now coming through to the main national squad, which should make them more competitive, with the latest result being a testament to that fact. In short, the Italians are gathering momentum and have an identity 24 years into their history as a Six Nations team. Many believe relegating them now would be a backward step not only for Italian rugby, but the international sport in general. It's hard to argue against that, given it took. Here come the naysayers in the comments. Ask the financial custodians of Italy and Wales, and they might playfully roll their eyes, perform a mock chest clutching routine, and humorously forewarn of fiscal doomsday in the event of a shake-up to the Cosy Club. The Six Nations hierarchy will also quietly remind you that it's a privately run company, and as mentioned, they can invite or retain whoever they want. Compromising the calibre of the tournament serves in no one's best interest. But hang on, in 2026, a new global rugby tournament consisting of a 12-team competition will feature the Six Nations and Rugby Championship teams, as well as Fiji and Japan. So expanding the Six Nations tournament will come close to matching that very structure, give or take a few nations. So what about South Africa? Such is the financial clout of the Six Nations that adding the Springboks to the mix is regarded in Johannesburg and Kelly travel to compete in the United Rugby Championships. However, those rumours have been quashed recently. Rugby is considered a sport with real virtues and a real sense of belonging, with a strong moral code. I'm not sure fast-tracking the Boks into an expanded tournament at the expense of Georgia, Romania, or even Portugal for that matter, would help keep those traditional values intact. Having said that, money does talk, of course. Every year, an average of 8.3 million avid rugby fans tune into the Six Nations, which is why it is no surprise large brands are digging into their marketing budgets to sponsor the event. When Guinness signed the contract as the main sponsors, Six Nations bosses wanted £100 million over 6 years, but eventually settled for around half that mark at £50 million. Having ended their 14-year partnership with the Royal Bank of Scotland back in 2017, the Six Nations actually turned down a deal worth £14 million a year with their old sponsors, believing the tournament was worth vastly more. This didn't stop the Six Nations gaining further sponsorship, and after cutting through the fat of TikTok's involvement, for them to break up at the end of 2023, only for them to rekindle the relationship in January 2024, or should we say reworded, as TikTok has been announced as the official fans of both the Guinness Men's and Women's Six Nations Championship, a unique window into the 2024 Guinness Six Nations, while also raising awareness of TikTok's online safety features through its Swipe Out hate campaign. This after cutting short their 4-year deal, but maintaining some form of involvement leads to many questions. Whilst at the same time, the Six Nations seem to have maintained sponsorship relations with Breitling and Sage, as well as adding IHG Hotels and Resorts in 2024 as the first official hotel partner of Six Nations Rugby. Sports and geopolitical issues seem to go hand in hand. You'll want to check out the video on screen, which gives you an insight on how Saudi Arabia not only plan to match, but overtake the English Premier League. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in that one.